Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sean's Shave Then. I'm Sean, and very awesome shave for today, a face shave. I was gonna grow it out a little bit more, being as I have a couple more days off, but I kind of couldn't deal with it. And I just got some new soaps from Herc Soapworks. One of them being a very special soap to me, and I'll tell you the story during the shave on why it's so special to me. Not necessarily the soap, which it is special to me, but the vessel in which this is named after. Old Ironsides, or the Uss Constitution. The notes on this are Kentucky bourbon, which they put real Kentucky bourbon in it, mahogany, and spice. They have other things in there as far as scent notes, and I will put that down in the description below. Also, I will be pasting some pictures, a couple pictures of the USS Constitution from my days when I was stationed in Boston, Massachusetts. For those of you that don't know, I'm in the U.S. Coast Guard, and one of my stations was in Boston, and I was very familiar with that particular vessel. But anyway, Old Ironsides is the soap today. Whiskey Woods is going to be the aftershave splash. I found this in a Walmart near me out in the wild, and I just had to pick it up, and it smells amazing. I haven't used it yet, so looking forward to it. The soap, you could definitely smell the nice, sweet, almost flowery scent of the bourbon with a little hint of wood in it, and a little bit of spice. I definitely smell that. Anyway, without further ado, let me get started with the shave. Let me lather this up, and I'll be right back for the first pass. Okay, back and lathered up for the first pass, and as you can see, this is a nice, thick, creamy lather that has a really nice sheen to it and some nice peaks, as you can see in the bowl over here. It lathered up super easily. Really no complaints about the lathering and the ease of which it lathered in this. So, also about the soap, I am getting a little bit more from the bourbon side. I'm getting a little bit more of a boozy scent now that it is lathered on my face, and scent strength on the soap, probably about a 6 out of 10, which is perfect for me, honestly. The razor that I'm going to be using today is my old gem Micromatic clog proof razor with the solid bar, and the blade has about 12 uses, I don't know, something like that. Between my head and my face has about 12 uses on it. Really becoming one of my favorite razors, this little thing, honestly. Really smooth shaver, and no irritation whatsoever. Really nice. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend going to an antique shop or finding it in a garage sale. If you see it for cheap, they're super cheap usually, pick one up. So that's the razor that I'm using today. I got about 6 days worth of growth. I must confess, I kind of cheated a little bit and shaved a little bit in between times. But I was going to keep the stash. I think I'm going to shave it off. It's starting to annoy the hell out of me. Anyway, so let's get started. Yeah, cutting through it like no problem. The soap is giving a really nice glide and cushion. Yeah, that's almost down the skin right there. So this is the first time I've used Herc soaps. I've never used them before. And the story behind this, I'll get going with that. I saw this particular soap in one of the Facebook forums. Somebody was posting a picture of his shave of the day, and I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, that's Old Ironsides. I've been on that ship before. And I was like, I have to have it, being as it is something very special to me. I'm kind of a history guy. So the story behind Old Ironsides, or the USS Constitution, is it was commissioned, which I don't believe it was the U.S. Navy at that point in time. I believe it was the U.S. Revenue Cutter Service that had it, because they disbanded the standing U.S. Navy after the American Revolutionary War. So around 1797, right, a little bit after the American Revolutionary War, they put this ship into service, and made from very strong oak wood. And since then, it made its real debut in the War of 1812, where it got a nickname, Old Ironsides. And the reason why it was nicknamed Old Ironsides is because during the battles, the enemy would fire cannons at it, and the cannonballs, because the wood was so hard and because of the build quality of the vessel for that time frame, it was basically state of the art in a way. The cannonballs would actually bounce off the side of the vessel. So they nicknamed it Old Ironsides. It's been in a lot of battles since then as well, between the Quasi-War, the War of 1812, and the American Civil War, and a few others before that. So they disbanded the Navy. So the Revenue Cutter Service, I believe, is the agency that they put in place of the Navy, essentially to collect tax from trying to run foreign ships that were coming in, that were trying to do trade with the country, but were not able to, tried to skip out on their tax, essentially. And me being in the Coast Guard, the Revenue Cutter Service was basically the start of the U.S. Coast Guard. So some may say that the Coast Guard is the longest running continuously running U.S. seafaring service, because many of the agencies from back then and later on were brought together to make the U.S. Coast Guard, which is why we were originally part of the Department of Treasury before we were Department of Homeland Security, which happened in 2003, a little bit after 9/11. Really nice shave. But anyway, the ship is still alive and doing well, and is stationed in Boston Harbor. which when I first got into the Coast Guard, I was around that time, maybe about 4 or 5 years after, I was stationed in Boston as a marine science technician, which is my new rate, my rate, or MOS, for you other service members out there. And being in the Coast Guard, which the vessel is still run by the U.S. Navy. It still is a U.S. Navy billet. So a lot of people, it's kind of a special billet for the U.S. Navy. They get stationed on it and they have to dress up in the 1800s garb and know all the traditions. The vessel doesn't get underway usually, but when it does, us as the Coast Guard act as a vessel movement officer on the vessel, which is a unique opportunity for me because not many people get to ride on that vessel very often. They do open it up to the public every now and then, and they allow them to ride it out, but it's like a raffle, so it's very rare that you get that chance. But anyway, I used to act as the vessel movement officer on that vessel. Let me get lathered up and I'll be back for the second pass and I'll finish the story. All right? Lather is amazing. Back for the second pass. So where was I? Finishing up the story. Well, going into the story again. Anyway, second pass, cross the grain. Anyway, the vessel is still out in Boston today and still running, and they use special oak trees from their own private reserve. I forget where the actual white oak reserve is for the vessel to do renovations on it and fix it up a bit. Obviously, they still need to do maintenance on it. The vessel's over 200 years old. But anyway, I would act as the vessel movement officer every time the vessel would get underway. Basically, I would be on board, and every time the vessel get underway into the harbor, it would go out into the harbor. It would exchange a volley of cannon shots out towards the old Revolutionary War fort out in the mouth of Boston Harbor, and then turn back. It wouldn't go very far. But anyway, every time it did that, we had to be on board to direct all the assets, the police boats, the Coast Guard boats, and Navy boats guarding the vessel as it was going out into the harbor. Had a little security zone around the vessel, so make sure nobody tried anything funny to take the vessel out. Because it is a national treasure, really. So I used to go on it all the time. I even got a chance to climb the mast on the vessel. And I was gracious enough and lucky enough to be able to re-enlist on that particular vessel. So I contacted the company after seeing this soap, because I was asking the guy, I was like, where did you get that? I never seen that soap before. Herc soap company is not one of the soap companies that I've heard of. There's so many of them out there. And so I contacted the company and I just wanted to tell them my story, because not many people get that. And I told them how I really would like the soap at some point in time. I was probably not going to buy it at that point in time, which is fine because I don't think they had it available. They only make it every so often. because I guess it's hard to keep they were saying it's hard to keep a bourbon soap on the shelf for very long. So they only make it in small batches every couple months, and it runs out fairly quick. So I told them my story, being in the Coast Guard, and my experience with that vessel. And they wrote me right back and said, that is the coolest story that they've ever heard. And they were extremely nice enough to give me a 15% discount on any of my orders and any of my orders in the near future. So they gave me a code for the discount, and they said, for that particular soap, don't worry about buying it. They said, we will automatically put it into the order with any soap that you buy in the future. And they will save the batch for me just to keep on hand and send it to me with the order so I could try it, which was extremely nice of them. They really did not have to do that. And so surprised by this great customer service, I went out to their site right away and I purchased 2 other soaps from their line, which I will do a review on later on. One of them being Ration, and the other one I figured I needed a coffee scent would be Morning Bliss. Really nice coffee scent to this one. I actually had to use that one a few days ago for my head shave because I like the scent so much. But anyway, they were nice enough to send me an extra soap free of charge of the Old Ironsides, which really is a great soap. Love the scent. And definitely would remind me of being on the USS Constitution, which I will put some pictures of. Not necessarily. I don't think I have any pictures when I was actually on the vessel, but I do have pictures of it in the harbor, in Boston Harbor, sailing around. So I will get those, or one of them, or 2 of them on there. Anyway, that is the second pass. Let me get ready and lathered up for the third and final pass, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay, back for the third and final shave. I forgot to mention also, this soap is a vegan-based soap and very minimal ingredients. Honestly, haven't seen a lot of soaps with just that amount of ingredients to them out there, and that's a really good testament to the company, honestly, in my opinion, and also the quality of their product. The fewer ingredients and the great shave that I'm getting from it is very nice. Really nice, easy, effortless shave. Residual slickness is fantastic on this soap. Can go over spots without any inkling of irritation. And after 12 shaves on this blade, 12 or more, it doesn't feel like there's any change in the blade performance, really. So definitely a big shout out for Herc Soap Company, and I'll leave a link to their site in the description of the video. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to try this wonderful soap. That being said, hope everybody has had a great weekend. I know Christmas and Thanksgiving are, well, Thanksgiving then Christmas are just around the corner, which are two of my favorite holidays. And my wife's birthday is coming up as well on December 2nd. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to get her. Maybe a razor. I don't know. Nah, she'd probably kill me. So I'm currently stationed in Puerto Rico. I'm a big history buff. I really like history. World history, US history, anything. Really, I love reading about history. I love reading books about history, watching shows, movies based on historic events, documentaries. And they have a fort here in Old San Juan, which I could see from my balcony, called El Morro. And it's one of the bigger Spanish forts, old Spanish forts on the Caribbean islands, which in the days, it basically helped Spain get dominance over all of South America, Central America, most of the Caribbean islands, and the southern parts of the United States in their empire. So I may do, which I think I did a video on that on El Morro a while ago. So it seems like everywhere I go, I am in a place where there is some kind of history to the place. And not only history, but an interesting history. So I really like that. The Coast Guard has taken me to many cool places that I wouldn't have otherwise gone to. And I've done many things which I otherwise would never have gotten a chance to do since joining. So I thank my job for those opportunities all the time. Definitely an interesting job that I do. And I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm almost ready to retire. So it's getting a little sad and a bit scary. I mean, I'll be 39 years old when I retire from the Coast Guard. Still old enough to work for other companies, other things, which I definitely will have to do. The pension just won't necessarily cut it. Beautiful shave. Nice. Irritation-free shave. Gorgeous shave soap and gorgeous shave, guys. I highly recommend getting any of Herc soap company's soaps, which I will leave a link to their site down below. And that is the third and final pass. I know I've gone a little bit long with this video. I apologize. I was telling some stories and I kind of got caught up in the shave and how great the shave was. So let me finish up, clean up, and I will be back with the post shave and I'll be on my way. See you in a little bit. Okay, back and all cleaned up for the post shave. As you can see, I knocked about 7 days worth of growth down to absolutely nothing. It's a fantastic BBS shave with no tightness to the skin or feeling of dryness whatsoever. Fantastic soap and fantastic shave. No irritation. For the post shave, I'm going to be using Pinaud Whiskey Woods, which I found at a Walmart nearby. They were selling this Gentleman Gin, which I purchased as well, and also the Brandy and Spice one, which I did not purchase, so I just purchased two. And this is the perfect scent to be used with the Old Ironsides soap. Very nice scent. This has to be, next to the vanilla, my favorite Pinaud aftershave. Really cheap, really easy to find in the wild, and just perfect all around aftershave. Anyway, that is it for the shave, guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. And leave a comment. I like to hear comments. I like to talk to people. Thank you once again for watching. Star of the show today was my old stomping grounds, the Uss Constitution, or Old Ironsides, as the soap is called. Anyway, have a good one, guys. I'll see you later on during the week for the shave. I'm going to be doing my test this week. It's on Thursday, so I may not do any shaves before then. Just basically spending my time studying. Later, guys. Have a good one. Have a good one and good week. Bye.